Good day, family and friends of Light Information Channel, Thought of Thoughts. As we are carrying on again today with the mentoring program, let me first greet the vision bearer, Mr. Nezana, the pastor. Today, as we are carrying on, we are still having Pastor N.R. Ratogwa, the apostle from Christ Ambassadors Christian Church, station in Palabora. Right, we are carrying on today again, beloved family and friends, on our mentoring program. Today we are dealing with mastering your tongue as a leader. Mastering your tongue as a leader. How do you talk with people? How do you approach people as a leader? How do you speak, the way you speak to people as a leader? Right, before I carry on that, I always find out what is the definition of that. So now I said, what is mastering? And how do we master? What is mastering? Right, let's see. Mastering generally refers to becoming highly proficient in a skill. Mastering generally refers to becoming highly proficient in a skill, that is learning or conquering, or the final post-production stage in audio, where a finished mix is polished and prepared for distribution. It involves polishing, balancing, and optimizing audio for consistent playback across all devices. That is mastering. When you master on something, here it was just example whereby now it generally refers to becoming highly proficient in a skill. You see, highly proficient in a skill, or learning or conquering, or the final post-production stage in an audio, where a finished mix is polished and prepared for distribution. Right, now let's go now to mastering your tongue as a leader. It says mastering your tongue as a leader is a critical skill directly correlating to and often measured by a person's ability to communicate with clarity, empathy, and purpose while maintaining emotional control. Mastering your tongue as a leader is a critical skill directly correlating to and often measured by a person's ability to communicate with clarity, empathy, and purpose while maintaining emotional control. It involves moving beyond just talking less to intentionally selecting words that builds up. You intentionally doing what? Select words that builds up, that inspire and foster trust, trust rather than causing distraction or creating fear. How do you master your tongue? How do you speak to the people? It says here again, it involves moving beyond just talking less to intentionally selecting words that builds up, inspire, foster trust, rather than causing distraction or creating fear. Right, now, let's see now the key principles of mastering the tongue. The key principles of mastering the tongue. Right, number one, I think you are writing down. Right, practice the pause. Sometimes before you speak, or when you are speaking, you must have a pause so that people can understand what you are saying. Practice a pause. That is number A. Right. To be seen as a strong, intentionally intentional leader avoid rushing or acting on knee-jerk. Hey, to be seen as a strong intentional leader, listen to this. It says, avoid rushing. That's why there on top it says, practice the pause. The pause. You must avoid rushing or acting on knee-jerk reactions. Pausing allows you to choose your ways. You see, by pausing, it allows you to choose your ways carefully and gives them more weight, so that they can understand what you are saying. Pausing allows you to choose your ways carefully and gives them more weight. Right, that is number A. I think you are writing down. Right, number B, it says, listen more and fix less. You see, listen more, fix less. Right, it says, actively listen to understand the emotion. Listen to understand the emotion and content behind the words. To understand the what? The emotions and content behind the words, rather than immediately stepping in with a solution. We cannot just give a solution. Firstly, we must understand the emotion and content behind the words. Then we can step into solution. But it says again, true listening encourages trust. Through listening, it encourages trust, while immediate, unsolicited advice can feel. It says, while immediate, unsolicited advice can feel. True listening encourages trust, while immediate, unsolicited advice can feel condescending. You must feel that, listen to that word. It says, true listening encourages trust, while immediate, unsolicited advice can feel condescending. Right, good. Let's go now to number C. It says, use we instead of I. There is a statement whereby I used to say, me, myself, and I. Attitude. Me, myself, and I attitude. You see, that one, it falls even under the pride. So, but here it says, you use we. Sometimes a person can say, I did this, I have this, I want. No, but we must use we so that everybody can feel comfortable. It says, inclusive language empowers the team. Inclusive. You must include everybody. Language. It says it empowers the team and shares ownership of success, while using I often highlights individual achievement at the expense of team morale. You see, at the team, as a team morale. Right. Let's go now to number D. It says, speak with grace and purpose. Remember there on top it says why? Use we instead of I. Me, myself, and I attitude. That is a pride. Use we instead of I. Then I think now you understand. Now it says number D. Speak with grace and purpose. Speak with grace and purpose. Ensure communication is constructive. Ensure communication, as I said before. Communication is very much important. Now it says ensure communication is constructive. Even when addressing difficult issues. Even if when you are addressing difficult issues, focus on positive. Don't focus only on wrong things or wrongdoing, but focus on positive. Life-giving words that motivate. That is what you must still even focus on. Life-giving words that motivate, rather than destructive, demoralizing language. because other people, they will lose that demoralizing language. No, you cannot make it, man. No, man. You know what? Those words that does not encourage a member, the words that encourage the co-workers. You see, right? Let's carry on now. I think we are learning a lot. When to hold your tongue. You see, now it's another heading. When to hold your tongue. The bite your tongue moments. When to hold your tongue. Let's see. Number A. Number A, it says, when you are angry. When you are angry, avoid talking too much. Avoid talking too much, because now you're gonna sometimes speak or talk bad language to other people. Words spoken in rage cannot be taken back. When you are angry, words spoken in rage cannot be taken back and often cause long-term damage. You see, long-term damage, which means you can hurt a person that in such a way that he's not gonna do what, he's not gonna forget. Right. Number B, when you don't have all the facts, remember, it's when to hold your tongue. When do you hold your tongue? The first one, when you are angry. The second one now, when you don't have all the facts. It says, rushing to judgment or speaking without full information damages credibility. Rushing to judge. Rushing to judge. And when you speak without full information, it damages credibility. Right. Number C, it says, when tempted to gossip. When tempted to gossip. Remember, it's what? When to hold your tongue. When tempted to gossip. The first one, it was saying when you are angry. The second one, when you don't have all the facts. Now, the third one, it says when tempted to gossip. Participating in a wholesome talk diminishes your standing and destroy trust, according to the care for pastors. You know, participating in unwholesome talk diminishes your standing and destroy trust from people. When you just talk, people, they can lose trust in you, because some of the things that you are talking, maybe you are not sure of. You see, you are not sure of. Right. Number D, when someone else is talking. When to hold your tongue. The first one is said, when you are angry. The second one, when you don't have all the facts. The third one, when tempted to gossip. Now, the fourth one, it says, when someone else is talking. I used to see people when, let's say, I'm talking something very important with another person, then another person just come in and interrupt or interfere without asking. You can see that these people, they are in a very serious matters. Then you just come and interfere. No, it's not allowed. You may first request as you can interfere or not. So avoid interruption and trying to prove your expertise when others are sharing their perspectives. Avoid that. Avoid to interrupt other people when they are talking. Right. Let's go now. As not so long, I'm going to be finishing. Practical strategies for improvement. Practical strategies for improvement. Number A, write down. Evaluate your words. Evaluate your words. That is number A. It says, actively monitor what you say and how you say it. Monitor, evaluate, listening to what you are saying and how you are saying it. Assessing of your tone is constructive or critical. Your tone when you're speaking. Sometimes I can hear that when this person is talking, you can understand, or I can understand that this person is angry because of his tone. This person is happy because of his tone. This person is hurt because of the tone when he is speaking. So actively monitor what you say and how you say it. Assessing of your tone is constructive or critical. Number B, remember, is practical strategies for improvement. The first one we say is evaluate your words, right? Number B, seek feedback. Seek feedback. Look for feedback. It says, ask trusted colleagues how your communication style is perceived. You must ask those that you trust, the colleagues, the members that you are working with, how your communication style is perceived, as whether you are doing it right. Right. Number C, apologize quickly when you are making. There are people that really they don't apologize. You know, I always and sometimes say, respect does not have age limit. Even if a person or a young person to me, it doesn't matter if I make wrong, if I say some words that hurt him or her, I must just apologize so that we must feel happy. We must be happy when we are working. We must be happy, all of us, when we are doing other things. But other people, they've got that pride that they say, no, this one is too young to me. This one is younger than me. This one is, I don't care about that. So no, that is not life living. That is not life living. Try to apologize whenever you do mistakes. Try to apologize whenever you say a bad language to a person or you speak a bad language to a person. Apologize. Humble yourself. It doesn't take anything from you. It doesn't take anything from you. So humble yourself. Apologize wherever you make mistakes. Because others, hey, I'm telling you, they don't care. They say, no, Suka, I cannot do that, right? It says, number C, apologize quickly. Remember, it's practical strategies for improvement when you are to avoid your bad tongue. The first one I said, evaluate your words. The second one I said, seek feedback. The third one now, apologize quickly. It says, if your words are careless or hurtful, take responsibility immediately to heal the relationship. Because remember, if you don't apologize, you are destroying your relationship immediately. Other people will never understand you anymore. Other people, they will never accept you anymore. Whatever you say, they will just look at you. But now, if your words are careless or hurtful, take responsibility immediately to heal the relationship so that the relationship can be still be strong. Because if you don't apologize, then you are destroying your relationship. Right. As I'm concluding now, number D, it says, reflect before speaking. Reflect before speaking. It says, consider whether your words are accurate, necessary, and helpful. Consider whether your words that you are saying are accurate, straight, necessary to say something. Is it necessary to speak? Is it necessary to talk? Is it necessary to say this that you want to say? And if they are helpful, that someone can be helped by your words, by what you are saying. Right. Now, in conclusion, I say, mastering the tongue is a continuous process that reflects maturity. Listen to that as I'm concluding. Mastering the tongue is a continuous process that reflects maturity and is, as noted, an ongoing battle that requires daily attention. Let me repeat as I'm concluding. Mastering the tongue is a continuous process that reflects maturity and is a noted and ongoing battle that requires daily attention. Master your tongue. Mastering your tongue. Before you say something, evaluate your words. You evaluate your tongue as whether what you are going to say is it helpful to other people before it hurts others, and then it destroys the relationship. So make sure that whatever you say, it builds and promotes the relationship. Thank you and have a blessed day till we meet again. God bless you.